There it goes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the DBC Inc. Facebook Live for Thursday. We have a special event today. Not only are we here for the DBC, the normal time of the DBC Inc. Facebook Live, but also we're combining it with a book birthday. And so this is fantastic. And I'm going to introduce our special guests in just a moment. Just as you're joining into the live, know that if you put a comment in over on the side, you're going to be entering to win a free book today. So make sure you get your comment in over on the side there. And at some point, either later today or early tomorrow, we will pick a free winner. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And jump in there into the chat. And I will now, hey, Ryan Reed, first person to show up in the comments. What's up, Ryan?
Hi, Ryan.
Good to see you.
I know Ryan's got a book. Thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. He was the first one who actually got it.
I think he was. I'm like,
the
he got
first
it before
person
I
in
did.
the wild. Yeah, first person to see it.
Wild.
Thank you, Ryan.
Wild. So let me introduce our two guests. And so what we are here to celebrate is the book birthday. A little bit late, but here we are, of Teaching with Google Jamboard, right? And it says 50 plus ways to use the digital whiteboarding tool, but 50, no. That's just because, you know, it's the 50 things kind of a person here down here, but it's like 91 is what it really is. Yeah. So we undersold this. You're going to be overwhelmed when you see this because we said 50 plus, but it's 91 actually.
And then how many QR codes we got in this sucker?
I think, what did you say? 180 QR codes?
I think we made 180 jams. I'm not positive that all 180 of the QR codes made it in here, but there's at least 150 QR codes at least.
At least 150 QR codes. And so I am here with the authors, Alice Keeler and Kim Mattina. Alice is joining us from Kansas today and Kim from New Jersey. And so first of all, to both of you, congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what I think was the
Alice is freezing up on us, but she's going to be back. So Kim, this is book number 2 for you with Alice. And so I heard you mention earlier that this one is kind of especially special for you. And so what do you think about the new book now that you have it in your hands?
I am so excited. I'm so thankful for you and your team. You guys did an excellent job laying it out. It's the layout, the way everything turned out with the tips and the formatting and the organization, just it's great. And the topic is like close to my heart. So that's why it's special to me. So I'm really proud of this piece. Not that I wasn't on the first one, but this one is special. I'm just so proud of it.
Yeah, awesome. And so Alice, maybe drop off and come back in and we'll get you all back in there. I want to shout out Brian for jumping in. Thanks for jumping in the comments. Ryan's in there, of course. Sean is here. Thank you, Sean. Monica says she loves you like the shirt there. I gotta promote reading, of course. Marcia, thank you so much for popping in. And Lisa has popped in as well. And I know that Lisa is with Tara, so that's awesome. I'm sure Tara's listening in as well. And fantastic. And so maybe Kim, for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about you and about what your current role is in education and what you do.
Sure. So right now, Alice said her phone overheated. So that's probably why she got frozen. But anyhow, I am a technology teacher in New Jersey, nearly 15 years. I am the host of my own show, The Sweet Talk. And my goal is to pay it forward and try to help other educators around the world implement technology effectively in the classroom for our digital learners so they can be successful in future endeavors. So, and this is just one piece of the puzzle, right? You know, it's all about full circle. I learn from a lot of guests that come on my show. I learn from Alice as well. Even when we are collaborating with something like this, I always learn something new from people I connect with. And my goal is to just pay it forward and help somebody else with that as well. So, so next year I'll be teaching computer science. in middle school. So I'm really excited about that. This year, my role was a little different. I was more of a virtual learning specialist because of the pandemic. So my role was ed tech support, helping parents, kids at home and at school, teachers, staff, everywhere throughout the district, just try to get through simple tasks during the day. So I'm really excited to be able to be back in the classroom next year to teach one of my favorite subjects.
Fantastic. Yeah, thanks, Kim. And Alice, so for those, I think most people will probably know you, Alice, but maybe they don't know what your current context is and where you're at and what you're doing. And so what is Alice Keeler up to these days?
So many things. So, the pandemic's put all of us in weird places and doing things differently, and I accidentally moved to Kansas. So I've been living in California for 30 years, and I'm now teaching math in Kansas. Brought my 5 kids out here, and it's really been great. Everyone is so nice. I love it here in Kansas. I'm teaching math part-time so that I can, write books with Kim and support teachers. And it's really nice because I get to do both. I get to teach teachers and I get to work with kids. I'm teaching geometry. And then this next year, I'm going to be doing some coding. As many of you know, I like to code Google Apps Script and different solutions for Google Classroom. So this company's Schoolitics, they have it's just so like my jam. As soon as I opened it up, I'm like, this is Google Classroom data. That's my thing. I love it. So I asked them to give me a job. So I'm going to be doing some coding this next year, in addition to still teaching high school math part-time.
Fantastic. All right. So with this book, I think I know where I want to start because I'm guessing maybe that most people who are tuning in know Google Jamboard, but I bet you there's someone out there who's watching right now. There's someone out there watching right now who does not know Google Jamboard, has not used Google Jamboard, doesn't know what you can do with Google Jamboard. So maybe tell us why we want to be teaching with Google Jamboard. What is Google Jamboard?
Collaboration tool. It's a collaboration tool. It's a digital whiteboard, but more importantly, it allows us to get everybody's ideas together, whether or not you're in person, virtual, or any blend in between. We're using a Google tool that's really about conversations, talking, collaborating. It's not a presentation tool. That's Google Slides, and I love Google Slides. But this just really kicks it up a notch that we get the students doing the thinking and sharing the ideas. And so it's super amazing. We have a ton of things in the book showing you examples of the frames. And they're not slides because it's not a presentation tool. They call them frames. You can see that in there. That way. Different activities you can do to ask students to think through a process, to brainstorm, to build on each other's ideas. Kim?
Yeah, and one thing that I like about using Jamboard is that it supports, of course, like Alice said, group work, teamwork, collaboration, but it also supports the 4 C's.
Yes.
Critical thinking, creativity, communication, and it brings up the conversation. It allows students to work together, whether you're using the web version or the app on different devices, even the kiosks. It just supports all the 4 C's of education. And, it's a thing, I call it like you have to think out of the box, right? So like Alice said, it's not a presentation tool, it's a collaboration tool. And what's nice about Jamboard now is that it integrates nicely with Google Meet so that you can open up a Google Meet and open up a Jamboard right within the app.
And it shares with everybody. It's great.
Shares with everybody. So Google had made it very easy to integrate with, online learning and things with remote learning. So, and another reason why I like it is, I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay. So first of all,
it's just a great all around think out of the box tool. Like I'm preparing computer science lessons now for next year. And what am I using? Jamboard, because I'm going to have students work in pairs and they're going to go through the design process. of, working with physical computing devices. So this is one of my go-to tools that I'm going to be using next year. So it can be used in any grade, K through 12, higher ed. It just supports that collaboration forces within the classroom.
I've got some examples in here from Open Middle that shows, how you can really think outside of the box for math beyond just writing math problems. We have that as number 37.
Fantastic. By the way, so Melody has joined us. Thank you, Melody, for joining us and popping in. And Tara has joined us on the DBC account. So hello, Tara.
Hi, Tara.
And Amy, I love this from Amy, which I just popped up on the screen. New to Jamboard, but have loved it. I have not attempted to create my own yet, though. Need direction. So is this tailor-made for what Amy is looking for?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. We have 91 things, but the first 21 are really just assuming, what the heck is Jamboard? What are the basic functions? What can I do and get started with it? And Cam and I were really careful to really weave the pedagogy throughout the whole thing. It's not like, hey, here's a pen, you can draw on it. Yes, that's Captain Obvious. You could draw on it. Here's some things that you can do with the pen tool to really connect with students. How do we take it further? So we use the frame bar, rescue a lesson, use the 3 dots for more actions. And so if you are new to Jamboard, the first 21 of 91 tips are really getting you through the basics and then ramping it up with really specific things like helping students take ownership of their learning.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And to bounce off of that, Amy, you can add notes to it. You can add text boxes to it. You can add shapes to the frame. There's a lot of, objects that you can add into your frame. So you can also change the background of the frame and you can customize it as well. So that is all explained in the first part of the book. So it definitely goes over the basics.
One of my previous books was Google Apps for Littles. And when Christine Pinto and I wrote this for pre-K, kinder, first grade, we do a lot of Google Slides. Google Slides is amazing and has some great things that kinders can absolutely do. But as you know, when you try to drag and move things around on Google Slides, it's also easy to accidentally resize. And Jamboard kind of takes that away for the most part. It's really designed to move ideas around and collaborate and brainstorm. So adding those images, adding the sticky notes, and the kids can move stuff is so much better for your kinders using Jamboard.
Yeah, and I see Monica, my sketchnoting friend here, has joined in and talked about the littles and seeing what the kinders could do with it. And that's important to note that this is for all grades, all levels. So you can use this, you're teaching 12th graders, seniors, college, whatever it might be, and you use it with the littles as well.
And just to bounce off of Alice, what she said about the kinders too, it might be better for kindergartner kids to use the app on a tablet rather than the web-based version, because they can use their finger and drag, across the frame. So,
dragging and things on a
it's
tablet
just easier for them.
Slides is not as great. Definitely works better. For that, you make sure though that you've installed the Jamboard app. There's an app for your phone, and using Jamboard app on your phone and your iPad is going to be a much better experience than trying to do it through the Chrome browser. So if you're on a mobile device, please make sure you go to the App Store and install Jamboard.
It's free.
That's great.
It's free. And it's free.
That's a fantastic tip. Love that it's free too. So that's fantastic. And I see this is a good opportunity. Marcia says, great book organization, easy to try activities with QR code examples. Love the book. Need it signed. So she needs it signed. But that gives me a chance to shout out the production team. Liz Schreider was the one that worked behind the scenes on this, and Sal and Lindsay. And what they did with the interior of this book is just spectacular. All the QR codes, all the diagrams, it is next level. I mean, this is one of the most complex layouts that we've ever done in a DBC book, and they really knocked it out of the park.
Out of the park. I don't think I had any recommendations when they gave it to us. I'm like, I could cry. This is so beautiful.
And all we said was we wanted to feel like a jam. Yeah. And that was it. And then he just took off with it. So I mean, everything, the layout, the color
Love you,
scheme,
Liz. Thank you
everything.
for this.
I see, by the way, Alice, Monica's shouting you out for teaching her how to use the 3 dots.
Yes, I knew that was this Monica. Hey, I'm on my phone. I went to this amazing math PD with Melissa Fast. They said they were bringing her out, and I'm like fangirling because she's so amazing. Did just a terrific job. I'm like, I need to take you out to dinner. So I'm in my car. She's in there with my husband eating right now. But I'm almost 45 this year, so this very tiny print of the comments is a challenge.
And so we have
I had
another
great PD today, so you can all be jealous.
Yes. And so we have another question that's popped up. So one of you can tackle this. It says, Amy says, so creating the app, but can then have students work on the Chromebook?
Yes.
100%, Amy, 100%. It's a Google tool. So not only can they access it through the Chrome browser on your Chromebook, just like it's supposed to, but you could also install the Jamboard app on the Chromebooks. So you can access it either way, and each of the platforms has its own pluses and minuses. So that's really the cool thing about using Chromebooks is when the app is better, you can use the app, and when the web experience is better, you can use the web experience. So for sure, all your kids can.
Just make sure, ask your IT department that the Jamboard has to be enabled in your domain first. Yeah. If you're using it within your school domain, it has to be enabled. So
and there's literally no reason not to. That. So it's just not part of the course suite. It's not considered part of the course suite. If you go to Google Drive, you can do the create button, the new button, and create a new jam right from Google Drive. But it does need to be enabled, as Kim said. But if your IT person is not enabling it, I will personally get on a phone call with them. There's no reason for them not to. This is a learning tool. It should be enabled.
And so when she says that, believe her. She will get on the phone.
I will.
Yeah. All right. So both of you have kind of addressed this in some of the things you've said, but let's just be real specific about it. Google Jamboard, this is going to be something that's effective for teachers, whether they are face-to-face, whether they are completely remote, or whether they're blended. Would you say that that's true?
1,000%.
Agreed. Yes.
As a math teacher, I'm going to go with 1,000% because it's a real thing.
Agreed. I'm going to be face-to-face in September, back to normal, and I'm using it in my classroom. I'm already planning on using it. And I have the kiosk in my room. So I'm lucky enough to have the actual hardware component in my room, and my kids are going to be using the Jamboard kiosk in my room in addition to the Jamboard on the web.
Yeah, but we want to be really clear. We wrote this book with the 100% assumption that you will not have expensive hardware. Jams are free. It says it right on the cover. Jams are free.
They are free.
And so I think very few schools would something like $6,000 or whatever to get the hardware. It's not necessary to get the hardware. The software is amazing. It's built right into Google Meet. It's right in your Google Drive. Just right now, type in jam.new, jam.new. Boom, you're set to go. You're rocking the Jamboard.
I want to say maybe that's one of the first tips in the book.
It probably is.
It is.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And so I love it. Sean here has said I've been using it as a remote classroom tool for mapping activities in social studies. Pretty nifty stuff. Love it. So you know what I think? Maybe Alice, looks like Amy might take you up on that.
Yeah, no, please, Amy, get a hold of me. I will call. I will. I swear.
Thanks for popping that in, melodijam.new. Could just get started right away.
And remember, jams live in your drive, just like any other Google app or Google file. So they can all be found in your drive. So, just keep that in mind.
So something else I love about the book is that, as you mentioned earlier, the first tips are like you have never used Google Jamboard before. This is going to get you started. It's going to get you set up. But even if you are an experienced user of Jamboard, you're going to find some killer ways to kind of go to the next level in this book. And so what do we have for kind of our advanced Jamboard users? What kind of stuff do we have in
Do you
here?
know that you can insert a PDF? You can insert a PDF into your Jamboard, but here's the tip. You got to use the app. You can't do it from the web version. You got to do it on your phone, on your iPad, or if you're on your Chromebook, from the Jamboard app. But you can insert PDF pages really easily.
I see Melody popped in. My daughter used it to design her dream room and show me. Love Jamboard. So that just shows you like all the different things that you can do with this. It's just so perfect to get kids creating.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that I used with Jamboard this last year, I just love the New York Times, what's going on in this graph. So this is tip number 58. And so every Tuesday, if you just type in New York Times, what's going on in this graph, it's going to come up. It's totally free for educators. There's no login necessarily. And I get that graph out of there. And it doesn't matter to me if you're in kindergarten or 12th grade or college. They are complex graphs from the newspaper using real current events. And they take out the headline and they take out the article. And this is the perfect platform to get kids. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Let's get past just what are the steps to follow and get kids to really dive into what's going on in their world. These are real graphs from the newspaper that obviously the New York Times thinks that our education system has prepared kids to be able to read them. And so they provide this as a really great tool to get kids to start thinking. So even if the kids have no idea what the graph is about, even my kinders can be like, this is bigger than this bar is bigger than this one. I notice a red line. Just getting them comfortable looking at graphs is a great way to introduce creative critical thinking.
Oh, definitely. Interpreting data, reading the graphs. I mean, that's a skill that everybody needs at any age. You know, I was just having a conversation with somebody last week on the Sweet Talk about analytics and social media and how these kids are on these platforms and they don't understand the metrics and the analytics of their, you know, of their accounts. And, you know, just interpreting the data alone can be overwhelming. And to break it down into smaller pieces, you can use Jamboard for that, you know? So it's again, it's a collaboration tool. So if you break down the graph, you can have your group work laid on different frames.
Tip number 62.
Yep. So Monica pops in. The littles love the graphs. Yeah, they love the graphs.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I noticed that there's a whole section in the book of tips that have to do with app smashing. And so people are, of course, familiar with things like Bitmoji and Flipgrid and stuff like that. And so maybe if you could give us an example of how you can app smash with using Jamboard.
I love app smashing Equatio with Jamboard.
Ooh,
It is so cool. So what you have to do is install the Equatio Chrome extension. And then once you have that installed, you can create a new jam. And what Equatio does, it will allow you to type or write or say mathematical equations, and it'll insert that equation into a frame in the jam. And it inserts it in as an image. So
Equatio is free for teachers, y'all. It's free for teachers.
Yeah,
So you gotta sign up, but they'll give it to you for free.
It's Equatio. It's EQUATIO.
It's equation with no N. It's equation with no N.
Gotcha.
That's my favorite app smash.
There.
What's yours, Alice?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's just so great to use intermix with different things. The fact that I can use it with, you know, Flipgrid's so amazing and it has a whiteboarding capabilities in there, but the whiteboarding capabilities in Flipgrid is not collaborative. So using the Flipgrid with the Jamboard, where you get multiple students on there at the same time, showing the progression of ideas, and Flipgrid will allow you to do the screen recording from Flipgrid and then get the other kids to go ahead and comment and give that peer feedback is really huge. One of the standards that I just really love is critique the reasoning of others. And I can't think of a better tool to really accomplish this than using Jamboard.
That's fantastic. Well, so this book is a great combination of beautiful and also super practical. I can't imagine anyone reading this book and not walking away with something that they want to try and they do in their
They're
classroom.
going to walk away with 150 examples.
Absolutely. And
Make sure
again,
you have a QR code reader.
it says 50
Give 'em
plus.
phone you the
It says
QR.
50 plus, but that's kind of a joke. There's 91
joke,
in
91.
here. So there's 91 different ideas for how you can use Google Jamboard. We're proud of the book. Alice and Kim, congratulations on the publication of the book.
Thank
It's
you.
so cool to see it arriving to people now. And then I can't wait to see how it impacts classrooms and reaches kids, which is the most important thing.
That's the most important thing. Thank you so much. You guys are
Thank
the
you
best.
so much. Thank you, Dave.
Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for tuning in. And remember, if you have a comment over there, and we won't choose a winner for a while, so feel free to add comments if you're tuning in a little bit later, and we'll choose a free book winner from people that are in the comment section over there. So thank you again for tuning in to DBC Inc. Facebook Live on Thursday, which is a special
Thanks, everyone.
birthday
Bye.
edition. And so pick up that Teaching with Google Jamboard. Thanks to Alice and Kim in New Jersey, Alice all the way from Kansas, and me in California. So we got the whole country covered.
We got the whole country covered.
Yeah.
And
All
Melody's
different
in
time zones.
Alaska.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.